Hi! In this video we're going to make a review about all the tools and utensils and essential things you need in your sewing room. And the first one, of course, will be the sewing machine. Mine is a Singer Serenade, it says, and I bought it in Lidl's, really cheap, 99 euros I think, or something like that. And it's quite good if you're starting sewing and you need a basic machine. For the last few years I've been doing my sewing with that. And it has the basic stitches, all the zigzag, the ones to do the buttonholes. And of course it brings a little kit with some oil to clean it and a seam ripper as well, which is good. The one I'm not so happy about is the one next to it, my serger. It's also a Singer and I also bought it at Lidl's. Apparently it's one of the lowest quality, and last summer after the first project I did with it, I had to take it to the shop to get it repaired because it wasn't sewing. These machines make a chain and it wasn't doing it. It has 4 needles and apparently it's because it wasn't synchronizing well. The boy told me it's because they're made in China and all the little bits inside are plastic, and it cost me 50 euros to repair. And you know what? It's not synchronized again. I don't think it's worth another 50 euros to make one project at a time. I don't know what to do. I don't think I'll get it repaired. The thing is that having the experience of the other one, that it was a cheap machine and I was sewing fine with it, I decided to go for it because I thought it would be the same. It was cheap, but it will work okay. But apparently it doesn't. And it's a pity, really. And while I look so sad and disappointed, please let me know down in the comments which sewing machine and serger you use so I know which one I should invest in. The next thing you need to invest in is a good pair of scissors. I have a few. I have this classic pair, which I love. I love the sound of it. A few months ago for my birthday, I was given these big ones and they're really good. They cut really nicely. And in the sewing kits you can get cheap ones that doesn't cut very well, but they're good for cutting paper. Never ever use your good fabric scissors for cutting paper, please. It's forbidden. And then I also have my zigzag ones. They were my grandma's and they're really good for when you don't have a serger, like now, to avoid that your seams unravel. And talking about cutting, you can always get a rotatory cutter thing, and it's really good for straight cuts. And to cut with this, you will need the base that comes with it. It's basic because if not, you will cut through anything you put underneath. I don't know how that works, but it just, you can't see any cuts on it. It's really good. Another good thing to have is the seam ripper. They're really sharp, you have to be careful with this thing. And normally machines usually bring a little one in the case inside, and you may have enough with that one. The only problem is that if you get really excited using it, you'll rip the fabric as well. It's happened. We all know it, it's happened before. The next basic thing you need is a ruler. This one is 1/2 meter, and as well as the ruler, I really like using my measuring tapes, especially the yellow one. I don't know what it is about it, but it's really good. And this one comes in 1.5 meters, which is quite good because this is really precise, but if you need bigger things to measure, you use one of these. A good thing to have next to you when you're sewing is an iron. Mine is one of these travel size ones, Miyota. but it works really well. It does its job. It's good for pressing all the seams. It won't be any good for ironing a whole garment. And what I usually do is I put a blanket or a thick piece of fabric on top of my table and iron it there. I should think about getting a normal size one, and they're expensive irons. It's one of those things that until they break, you don't get a new one. So I don't know, I should get a new one for the house and have the old one, but then the old one will be old, so I don't know. And then smaller things that are useful to have, of course, well, not useful, essential to have, are pins and needles. I have a little tin that was a mint tin, and I have normal pins in there. And when the fabric doesn't allow you to use pins because it gets marks, like when you sew leather, you can get these clips. I don't have them either, but they look good. I've been using stationary clips. A few weeks ago I made some baskets for toys and I used those clips, and I also used pegs as well, but I didn't have enough clips. And pegs were fine to hold the materials together while I was sewing by hand. Which brings me to my upholstery needle. I'm so happy with that purchase. When I bought it, I bought two. I always buy two of everything. That's why I have so many threads and stuff. Just in case, let's buy two, just in case. And the boy looked at me like, how are you going to break it? But well, I have to. Another essential is the tailor's chalk. I love using tailor's chalk. There's something about it, isn't it? Nowadays there are also pens and things like that, but I'm an old gal. I like my chalk. You can get it in different colors depending on the garment you're going to cut. And of course, if you're going to make something really easy and you don't want to waste your good pattern paper, you can also have one of these craft rolls for drawing and stuff. It's a thicker paper, but it's good for anything easier you want to trace if you don't want to waste your good pattern paper. Bobbins, you need loads, the sun again. You need loads of bobbins and a few more. You're going to use them anyway, and once they are threaded, they're useful to have. Imagine you're going to sew something in yellow, like me last week. Have a look. And you go over there to your drawer and there it is, a yellow bobbin. Ready. So they're really useful. They only cost a few pence, so go ahead and buy a few. And I have two things that I don't know in which category I should name them, and they are my adjustable mannequin and my mirror. I think the adjustable mannequin, for me it's been an essential tool. For some people it would be an extra to have, because if you're used to working with patterns you won't really need it. But when I learned sewing, I didn't like patterns. I was really thin, I'm thin in general, and I didn't like patterns because I thought they didn't adjust really well to the body. So I had a look and I invested in an adjustable mannequin. It has different measurements. I remember there were two different sizes. I think this one was the small medium and there was another big one or a bigger size one. I'm not sure now, but it rings a bell. And I think it's wonderful. It wasn't that expensive. It was, I think, like 70 euros or something like that at the time, but it's been with me for more than 10 years, I think. But it's quite good. I've worked with it so much. That's why I'm always working with no pattern, because I prefer to just try it on Marie Antoinette. And the last thing is a mirror. It might not be an essential for you. I think you need one for when you try on all the stuff you're going to sew and see how it's working and how it's looking and all that. So I think it's really good to have one. Mine is from IKEA and it has space behind for hanging stuff, which is quite good. And one thing that I didn't have before and now that I have, I can't think of life without it, is my cutting table. I love it. It's just amazing. If you have the space, I really recommend to have one because it makes anything so much easier. You can work and have everything next to you, and it's amazing. I love it. I'm in love with it. It's huge. It goes up to my hip and you can make it even higher, but I didn't want to because it's quite wide. It's 1.20 meters, and if it was higher I wouldn't get to the other end, and it's 2 meters long, so it's amazing to have. One thing that I use a lot when I'm down here is a simple notebook. I'm always taking notes of stuff I'm going to do, or if you're measuring something, you take notes. So it's good to have a plain old notebook and a pen, or a pencil even, doesn't matter. And of course, any crafter needs all the boxes, tins, jars, any container you can have. Keep it, because you'll need it. I have buttons in a candle jar, the same as all the thread I've been collecting from different projects. Then I have boxes with zippers, with ribbons, bias tape. Because if you're like me, I think everyone is, when you go to the haberdashery, I'll have two just in case, or give me a few more meters just in case. You end up with loads of stuff, a whole haberdashery of your own. So you need boxes to contain the stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you subscribe so you don't miss anything next week. And I'll see you around. Bye!